man, what a great day here in the community, everyone. I am so glad you guys are here. I got one of my funny shirts on today. That awkward moment when someone reads your shirt. Come on. I am so pumped to have Jason Giles from the West Coast. For those who don't know him, runs an awesome team. Got to meet a bunch of people from the team this last week. They were hanging out with us in EXPCon. This guy's a monster. He and his wife, Jen, they run a great team, really clean operations, and they're doing some cool stuff. And today, we're going to talk very specifically about how do you build your business without bankrupting yourself? Because this is one of the things we see all the time with agents. It's like, well, if I had $1 million, then I could make $1 million. That's called a net of zero, and it's not a real accomplishment that you want. So what we're going to do today is we're going to break down some different strategies. We're going to make sure that you understand really how can this work in your business so you can build to the next level without breaking the bank. And I think that that is absolutely incredible. Now, without any further ado, I wanted to bring up one of my brothers from another mother, Jason Giles, coming to you live from Oregon. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
What's happening, Jeff? Every time, man, you give me that introduction and I just want to drop the mic and leave, buddy. I mean, that's it. I don't even want to do anything. So
that's what I'm about,
hey,
man.
I'm gonna touch on that EXPCon real quick before we get started. When we were there, they announced that there was 600 non-EXP agents that came to the event. So if we're wondering if people are actually going to go, if we invite them, there's 600 people that went. So invite people, they'll show up. It was powerful. It was great. There's some people that are on this Zoom right now that we didn't get a chance to meet while we were there. And, I wish we had. So let's make it a point next time that we had a chance to meet in person. Man, it was just powerful. I mean, meeting some of you there and not being on a Zoom was just phenomenal. So that was amazing. We'll get into this lead generating. We're going to get into cost-effective ways of doing this. And here's what's cool. I've learned this because of the mistakes I've made. Right. I've learned this because I've spent money when I shouldn't have spent money. I've learned this when I've didn't do research, right, on the products I was using. So, a couple of things that I just want to kind of point out before we go. And I thought about this was, in my career, I got at a point where I was tired of starting my business over every 90 days. If you're following me where I'm at with that, every 90 days that we got a bunch of closings, we're doing great, we're feeling good. And then all of a sudden, we've got no closings. Well, why? Because we didn't lead generate. Why? Because we didn't time block. Some people say, well, I didn't have the money to do it, or I didn't have the time to do it. We unless we're closing 10 a day, we've got the time. So let's dig into some ways that we can be cost effective, some ways that we can be mindful of what we're doing. This is every time I do this and I share this with the group here, it's an eye opener for me. It's what can I be doing different in my business every day? That's why I show up to these. That's why I like to present at these, because it gives me some ahas as well. So, when we talk about, doing cost-effective things, when we talk about lead generating, it really comes down to me, is the consistency, and then also blocking out your distractions, and then support. And here's what I mean by that. You have to consistently pick what works for you with your lead generation. Some people don't like making calls. That's okay. If you love doing open houses, become the best at open houses. If you love doing social media, become the best at social media. Second, distractions. Right now, I turned off my Bluetooth because my Bluetooth is connected to my Apple Watch. And while I'm here presenting, I'm here with you guys. I want full attention. I don't want to look at my watch because some email came through that I don't need to respond to, that I don't need to look at, right? So we got to get rid of distractions, because the reality is our lead generation is our money-making activity. So let's get rid of the distractions. Now let's get to what I think is the biggest one that we need if we're going to be successful at this, and that's support. So I would tell everybody who's going to be really going after it, going to be going after their business, going to be lead generating, to talk to the people that are close to them and their family, their spouse, their kids, parents, whoever it is, and say, listen, this is what I'm going to be doing. It's going to be tough, but I'm going to be going after it. And you know what? Any encouragement I can get from you, any support I can get from you would just make it that much easier, right? So let's dive into to some of these activities. And here's the thing, we're probably doing most of these, but this gives us a chance to round robin on maybe what you're doing that's working with it, maybe what we're doing that's working with it, and what we're doing that's saving money while we're using these, okay? So I'm going to share the screen here. And full disclosure, I had probably 2 cups of coffee this morning, and I've been up since 4:30. So stay with me. All right.
Let's go, man.
Cost-effective lead gen. Let's save money and get some leads. Now, here's a funny story I'm going to tell you guys. I just learned how to do this slide deck where it doesn't all pop up at once. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Social media marketing. So I really believe after going to this EXP con and listening to a lot of people in real estate, social media is a huge, huge resource for leads. But we have to be careful. You know, social media, we can get caught up on there and start scrolling and looking at what our friends are doing, commenting on things that just aren't productive for us. So I'm going to go over a few things with social media. Facebook. I'm sure most of us have Facebook. One of the guys on my team here, Colby, I think he had a Facebook, but he hadn't touched it for about 4 years because he's 22, but he has Instagram and he's got TikTok, right? So Facebook, I put set a time limit and task list. The reason I say set a time limit is because that's a distraction. When we know that we're getting on there, we want to know what tasks we're going to do, right? So for example, we have a sheet that we use that would be a certain amount of private messages, a certain amount of messages on someone's feed that they put something on, a certain amount of friend requests that we do. That's a task list, right? Set a time limit on it. That should take us about 15 minutes, right? So when we're on our Facebook, we've got about 15 minutes to use. Make it purposeful. And then if you need to break away to have your own time, then time block 10 minutes to get on social media and see what everybody else is doing. But first do what it is that's going to produce you money. Guess what? This cost us nothing. Now I'm going to share a story. I have a friend of mine that I worked with, I don't know, 14 or 15 years ago. And she messaged me on Facebook and she said, hey, I want to know about that property that you have for sale. So I call her up. I'm super excited. Hey, what's going on, Olivia? How can I help you? What's happening? Let's catch up. She said, listen, you've got this 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3-acre property priced at $395,000. Is that in Albany? I said, let me look that up, because if it was, I would probably be buying it, right? Because that's a really, really good price. So I look up, she sent me the Facebook post that I shared. Okay, I shared this post. This house is actually on the East Coast with an agent that I work with over there. And all I was doing was helping them and sharing their post. Well, guess what? She called me off of that post. Okay, so I would encourage everybody to collaborate and share posts from other real estate agents, because guess what? The consumer's not looking that it was shared from, whoever, Susie Smith Real Estate, and they're going to call her. They're going to see it was on your Facebook and they're going to call you. That's just a small example of what sharing things that cost us no money can do to help build our business. Instagram. So same thing. Get on there, do the same task list, same time limit for Instagram. Okay, we can kind of go over this whole thing again, but we got to understand the groups that are in these Facebooks and in these different social media platforms. I'm 44. I've had Facebook for 15 years. I got an Instagram about 1.5 years ago, right? So, I mean, we got to know what target we're going with. So when you're on these different ones, know what you're targeting and what you're doing, okay? LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn. A lot of people I talk to, they don't use it. I think it's a great networking source, mainly for referrals. Okay. The reason I say that is because you got a lot of business professionals on there. So the more that you're getting on LinkedIn and you're just commenting and supporting what they're doing, you'd be surprised how many people are watching you without saying anything back. And then they'll reach out to you later to say, hey, I noticed that you were really highly engaged on this. There was a question the other day on LinkedIn that had something to do with, what do you feel that I should have as a new real estate agent in the business? Everybody said CRM. They said money. They said all of this stuff. Great ideas. I simply put coach. I think you should have a coach. It's very important. It's going to help you, guide you the right way. I got about 6-7 people who liked that comment, right? I was doing it to help them out, but I'm also looking for people to recognize what I'm doing on there so that they'll be reaching out to me. Once again, when you're on there, set a time limit. I think with social media, if you can time block 45 minutes to 1 hour a day and make it purposeful, you will start generating leads and referrals from that. Now, here's what's a really big one to me on a lot of stuff we're going to talk about is we look at just our area. Well, we work for a cloud-based company, right? We're nationwide. We've got different countries. Let's expand that thinking, right? Comment on people's stuff that's in Nebraska if you're in California. Comment on someone's stuff in Japan if you're in Nebraska. So open that up, because that opens up for referral business. I've got referral business off of doing that. So YouTube, this is a big one. I didn't realize this. Jeff, is YouTube the second most searched engine to Google?
I think it's second to Google, but interestingly also owned by Google. So it integrates, it cross integrates.
Okay. Tyler, what's up?
So I'm going to preface this with I'm actually the only real estate agent in the state of Oregon, but all of you, like when it comes to social media, there are groups that are like quoted moving to Oregon, moving to Idaho, your dream home in Idaho. I mean, like across the states, there's so many of these groups. And one of the biggest things that you can build a referral network off of, join those groups that are moving to your state or whatever else, but make friends with the admins. They talk to those people, engage with those people, because those admins who see all these new incoming people for these new posts and everything like that, like those are great relationships to like build up, because they will continue to send you business and more and more and more.
That's phenomenal. And I'm glad you said that, because I'm reading a book right now, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And building those relationships is huge, right? And we can build these relationships on social media. So social media marketing, YouTube, I'm breaking through into YouTube. I did one video about 6.5 weeks ago. I have 1 view so far. I think it's when I looked at it. I don't know, but I'm going to still dig into it and try to keep doing it. Okay. So, just break through, just do it. Just get on there. Twitter, that's one I'm not really on, but for those of you who are, utilize that. Maximum. It's a tool for us that's free, that we have, that we can engage with, get to know people, like Tyler's saying, and just, get your name out there. I do videos every now and then on Facebook, and I have family and friends that'll say, hey, I really like that video. And I'll look back at it, and they've never even liked it on Facebook or social media, wherever I put it, or never even commented. And I'm like, okay, people are watching this. People are seeing this, right? And then you become top of mind. That's really what this is about, is top of mind. Now, you're going to get some instant referrals, but for the most part, this is going to be more of a long-term building your social media marketing to gain business, okay? Snapchat. I had notes here. So Snapchat, I don't really use. Some people do. So, use it for what it is. And before I move on from social media marketing, with those of us who are with EXP, this is another way to genuinely build relationships with other agents. Okay. If you're going to get on here and you're looking at building your organization, your rev share, you're looking at supporting and sponsoring people and being a mentor, get onto some of these groups that have to do with real estate, and take a few minutes. I do it at night when I'm laying down to go to bed, because I don't want to do it during the day. And I'll see what was happening throughout the day on that, and maybe comment, support somebody. I never asked them to, hey, come and talk to me. I've had people reach out and say, hey, because of what you're doing, do you mind if we get together? And when you do it, when you're genuine about doing it, because I think what we have is phenomenal, people will see that. I don't care if it's through a message. I don't care if it's through a video. They're going to see that, and they're going to reach out to you. So this isn't just about your leads and what you have to do. One of the things that we do, and I would encourage people, you could have been in real estate for 20 years. Reach back out to your family members and let them know you're in real estate. Some of those family members don't know that you're still in real estate. Okay. Reach back out. Sometimes you can reach back out through Messenger. Sometimes I would say personally call them. But I'm getting to this because what I have a lot of new agents do when they come into real estate is I have them get on their social media, mostly Facebook, and I have them private message 5 people per day. And they simply say, hey, I want to catch up sometime. I did want to let you know I made a transition to real estate. I'm very excited about this new move. If you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell a home, I would love your recommendation. 5 people a day. You just get that out there. You can do that every year, and you can build business off of doing that. We did some math, and if you do that and it works out right, you can sell pretty much 36 homes a year. I say do that often enough because people forget, once again, that you're in real estate, right? So with that message, I'm not directly asking them if they'll do business with me. I'm asking them if they know somebody that they could recommend to me. And I think we know this. A lot of people want to help, right? So that's social media marketing. I hope that helped. Does anybody have any questions what we're doing, or does anybody want to share something that they're doing with social media that could help the group? Boom. Okay.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, man. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, first off, long time no see. Love you guys. Sorry I've been absent, but life's been crazy. Second, I saw Chris ask what types of videos, and I just wanted to say one of the things that I've learned that somebody else told me is, for one, rip off and duplicate. Like, definitely don't be afraid to do that. If you see videos working for somebody else, why not try it for yourself? Second, like keep in mind who your target audience is, right? Like make sure that you're speaking to people you want to do business with. Like don't be afraid to be yourself when you're making these videos. So definitely if you need any help, the most important thing is to just do it, right? Like any video is better than no video. So stay consistent, come up with some ideas, and if you ever need help, just feel free to reach out.
Boom. You could have had your screen blacked out. You could have blacked out your name. And as soon as you talked, I would have known it was Mike Holt. Okay, buddy, it's good to see you again. I'm glad that you're here. Chris, yes, I apologize. I can't speak and read at the same time. So Jeff, I'm going to need your help on that. But Mike is right. Here's the kind of videos that I'm doing. And it's real simple. Most of them happen in my car because I just have my cell phone right there. I just push play. And whatever's on my mind at that time that has to do with real estate, whether it's like, hey, here's what's going on in the market. We sold 4 houses yesterday, or there was 300 houses that were sold last month. Or listen, hey, if you need some motivation, if you're looking at, whatever's on my mind, I put it out there. Here's what I learned. My first video I ever did probably took me 327 takes. I deleted all of those, and then I did another 400, and then I found one that I thought was good enough, and I put it up there. When I realized I could have just done the first one and posted it, because that quote unquote shitty video is better than not doing a video at all. So I would encourage you just to do the video and just pick some. I would say start off with maybe an open house. Hey, this is Chris. I'm doing an open house at 123 Main Street. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Just have your camera up right there. I would love for you to come visit me. It's Saturday the 26th between 1 and 3. Hope to see you soon. Cut it and you're good. So hope that helps. Email marketing. So, there's different types of lead generation that we should be spending more time on. Okay. We'll get to some of those down the road, but here's some lead generation activities that we can have automated for us that we should be taking some time to get set up that are going to be helping us with generating leads. So email to me is one of those. You can do automations in your CRM. Sometimes you know who you're working with. Maybe they prefer an email, right? That you got to know what you're working with. Maybe they don't like the text. Maybe they like an email because they feel text is bothering them, but email marketing. So some of the things, CRM, that's what we're talking about. Get into your CRM. You are the CEO of your CRM. That is your baby. That is your business. If you've got 100 or 100,000 leads in there, whatever it is, treat it like it's your gold mine, because it really is. Get in there, set up the right campaigns, set up the emails that are going out. And when I'm talking about the different emails, send out newsletters, right? Give some information to them. This was a funny one, recipes, right? Because it doesn't always need to be about real estate. Now, how are we lead generating with sending stuff out like that? We're lead generating because we're top of mind, because they're seeing an email come through and it's not labeled buy a house from me. It's not labeled look at what sold yesterday. It's not labeled, I need money, come work with me, right? It's labeled, hey, here's a new recipe. Hey, here's a newsletter. Give them some value. And guess what? Studies show everybody knows 3 people a year that need some kind of real estate business. So if you have 100 people in there, chances are there's 300 possible referrals if you are taking care of them right. And your CRM automations can really help you with that. Tyler, I know you're big on this stuff. Are you doing something that you could share with us that would be helpful?
So when it comes to email marketing, one of the best things that you can do like right now in your business is actually, there is a program called Happy Grasshopper. And they are a long-term, very, very long-term email marketing campaign company. And they go out to a stretch of like 20 years. Great thing to subscribe to. But when you initially talk to them, if you set up a Zoom and ask them, hey, like show me some of like your promotional campaigns and like what you do for email marketing, they kind of spill the candy on the candy floor. And like between them and KV Core and what you can do on your own, like if you just sit down and have a solo one-on-one with Happy Grasshopper, they will give you so much of an information dump just right out the gate that you can totally just take that and build it on your own. Because like their stuff gets so much engagement, and you can put that on your own campaigns in KV Core that you can just kind of steal from Peter and give to Paul kind of thing.
Nice. I do know that there's different programs out there, different vendors that do that. So it's good. I mean, write that down, right? If you're looking for material, guess what? It is out there. Chat GPT is my new best friend. I asked it a question on the way here. Mainly it was how to get to my office because I forgot, but it got me here. Okay. So Chat GPT can help you with anything that you need. All right. So what's new in your area? Send out an email of what's new, what's going on. It doesn't have to be real estate. Hey, there's a car show coming up next month. Email that out, put that in an email that gets blasted out to your CRM. Once again, this kind of lead generating is top of mind because just like I talked earlier, how someone looked at my Facebook and they contacted me about a house that does not exist in my area. It's on the East Coast that I shared from somebody else. When they see this, they're going to think of you and be like, oh, wait, I needed to call Jason. I needed to call Chris. I needed to call James. They're going to be like, oh, I'm glad he sent this over. And I believe that when you're sending over something with value or something that doesn't have to do with real estate every time, people are going to be more engaged with you because they're going to say, oh, okay, this isn't the same topic I get sent every week, right? They're going to be more engaged to look at the emails. Holiday emails. I think we should all have those set up in our CRM. That should be an automatic one that goes out. Once again, this is top of mind awareness. When we see people who have billboards put up that they're spending thousands of dollars for, that's because they just want to be top of mind. Well, we have a system that if we use right, we can produce just like that billboard is for them, but at a much cheaper cost. So setting those emails up. Here's another one, community involvement. So when we talk about community involvement, sometimes people think, man, I don't have time for all of this. So what am I going to do? Here's what I suggest we should be doing is reaching out to your title reps. You're going to hear me say this a lot. Calling your title rep doesn't cost anything. And guess what? They want your business. So call them up and say, hey, listen, I've got a lot going on, but I know you're looking at what's going on in the community. Can you send me an email, maybe a text after that so I can see the email of what's happening that I should be looking into, that I should be going to, right? Community involvement, again, is going to be top of mind. I joke around and I say I'm a big introvert, right? People who know me, they know that that's not true. Well, anywhere I go, I talk to everybody I can. So with these community involvements, talk to them. The way I like to set up conversations, like you go to the Boys and Girls Club, they have a lot of stuff going on. I'm sure everybody's got one in their area. See what's going on in there. Get involved with it, right? When I go to these types of events, I never say, hey, I'm Jason with EXP. Hey, come do business with me. But I talk to them, and then eventually the conversation comes around. Maybe I get us there to, hey, what do you do? Well, I do this. What do you do? Oh, I do real estate. Most people will say when they find out you're in real estate, well, how's the market? Here's what I would suggest. I would suggest doom and gloom. Don't buy. It's horrible. Okay. Don't do that. All right. Here's what I suggest. I suggest that you say, it's fantastic. Why do you ask? Okay. When you're going to these events, anytime you run into anybody, it's fantastic. Why do you ask? You might get that person that's like, hey, how's the market? You say it's fantastic. They're like, I feel the same way because I want to buy investments. Ask them why they're asking. Let's not assume based on what we've seen or what we're doing that's going to fall into the same category as some people right now, right? So YMCA, they've got a lot of stuff going on. They're doing some pretty cool things here in our area with just the community. Get involved with them. Some of these things, and I know that Luna, I don't know if she's on here, but she's really big in community involvement. There's people in the community here that you could reach out to say, hey, how do you do that? And how do you make it time effective for you to do that? These things aren't something you have to do every day, right? But when you time block them in because there's 2 events happening this month, get to those events. Guess what? Cost us nothing. We're putting our name out there. Okay. Wear an EXP shirt and say, hey, sorry, I just came from the office. Whatever you got to do, right? Local schools. If you want to get involved with the local schools, what's happening there? How can we support them? I've got several kids, 9 to 14 kids. I'm not sure, but we have a lot. They go to a couple different schools, and anything we can do, we would be happy to do it. Right. We're signed up for volunteering. It's been a while since I've done that. Honestly, this market got crazy this last year, so we've had to readjust, but get involved in the schools if you can. Sometimes it just has to be 30 minutes a week at that school. Again, this kind of lead generating is more of top of mind, more of they know who you are. They know you're involved, right? And then get to know, like Tyler was saying earlier, build relationships with anybody and everybody you're coming in contact with. Make that genuine. I want to help you build your business so that you're never restarting your business like what we talked about to begin with. Every 90 days, we're restarting our business. When we do things like this and we're top of mind and we're building relationships, and people know who we are, they're going to be calling us before we ever call them because they want our help, because they like us. They want to work with us. Okay. Fundraisers. Go to fundraisers. Doesn't mean you have to hold one, but go to fundraisers. See what's going on in the local community. You'll start seeing people that you're very like-minded with that want to give back. Go to fundraisers, maybe even see how you can participate in that fundraiser that's on a volunteer level. Once again, this doesn't cost us any money, right? We can be involved with this. Highly successful real estate agents, I see them involved in their community. I see them doing stuff for their community. A lot of it's volunteering. They don't have to spend money to do this. And even if it is money, we're talking a couple $100, which is well worth it to give to a cause that you like, right? So car shows. I put some stuff here because it reminds me of what we have in our area. So in the summertime, we'll have some car shows in downtown Albany where our office is. We also have what's called River Rhythms. Okay, it's where bands come down. I think they moved the location because they're doing some construction here. During the summer, every Thursday night, they'll do that. So community involvement, get involved with these things that are going on, see how you can participate in that. And I'm going to share this story about the bands that come every Thursday. I decided to do an open house on a Thursday night between 4 and 6 because I knew that there was going to be high traffic on that road because of what was going on with this band. I had 3 people show up. One of them was a couple that, and this was probably 7 years ago, that since they've showed up, between their referrals and the purchases and the investments that they've done, we've done over 11 transactions. So be mindful when you're with stuff that's going on in your area. Maybe you could maybe not show up to that event, but now you're doing an open house that's close to the event during that time. Okay. Events in your area. That's what we're talking about. See what's going on in your local area. See how you can be involved in it. Who knows? You might have fun when you go. We wanted to do it last year. We'll definitely do it next year. It's a year away, so we could still detox from going to Vegas last week. So next year they have what's called the Wine Walk. And it's where local businesses here downtown Albany will set up a little stage out front, say who they are. They have, wine tickets that you can get, wine with stuff. And it's just kind of a really cool event that happens down here. And I think that'll cost us like $250. That's a cost-effective lead generating, getting your name out there type activity. Okay. I say K a lot. So I think I get that from my daughter. Let's see what's going on. Okay. Collaborate with local businesses. So for those of us who were with KW, this is something I learned with them a long time ago, and I think it's very powerful. Collaborating with local businesses, and everybody's got their businesses that they could work with. So we're talking restaurants. You could collaborate. When you go to restaurants, I always suggest that you leave. Hold on. Sorry. That you leave your business card when you're done there, right? But then also with your local restaurants, maybe get in there and talk to the owners. Hey, what do you have going on? What can we do here? What is it that we can do to support each other? Roofing. So this is going to go into a bunch of different companies. Here's why I say collaborating with local businesses really helps. You got to pick your local businesses, right? And we want to support local if we can. So you pick your local businesses like roofing companies, garage door companies. You're going to see all of this on this slide. That when you collaborate with them and you are sending them business, here's what it does for you. Jeff owns a roofing company. I've done four houses with him last year. He and I have talked because we're building that relationship. And I call him up. I say, hey, Jeff, man, I just want to reach out to you. Thanks for taking care of those clients for us last year. Hey, listen, man, right now I'm doing a really big push for our team. I'm doing a really big push right now. And I was just wondering, do you know anybody who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Or are you yourself looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? When we've collaborated with those local businesses, we can have that conversation with them. We can ask them. It's very, very big when we're doing these things that we are asking for that business. Okay. There I go again with okay. HVAC. So we have, local HVAC companies, garage door companies. I say this because these are some of the companies that I work with. My HVAC guy is a single guy that does it on his own. Boom. We have a garage door company that he's got 3 people who work there. Pick the local company. We don't need this big company because guess what? They're dealing with a lot of people, right? And here's the thing. A lot of people will say, well, I know I'm not the only real estate agent that is talking to them. Yeah, you're right. You're not. However, are you the only real estate agent who's actually trying to get to know them? Hey, Jeff, listen, I'm doing more business in the area. Before we maybe do something, tell me a little bit about yourself, man. When did you start this company? What was it important to you about starting this company? What did you do before that? What does this company mean? Like, find those things out, right? Don't even talk about yourself. Just find those things out. Like, hey, man, that's awesome. I look forward to working with you. When you're calling them back and you're doing business with these people and you're collaborating with local businesses, you can call them back like, hey, Jeff, I knew you said you started this because you wanted a little bit more freedom with the family. Guess what, man? We're doing a family food drive for people who are less fortunate than us. We were wondering if you wanted to jump in on that with us. I got a better chance of him wanting to collaborate and do those things with us because I found out what was important to him, right? It's not, once again, I read books and I'm reading this book. I'm learning a lot. It's not about what we want. It's about what we can give and really building those relationships. We talk about this all the time. Don't just collaborate, build a relationship with them. Landscapers, there's tons of them out there, right? We have one that comes to our house mainly because my hands are too soft and I can't use the lawnmower. That's why. It's not because I'm lazy. All right. I just can't do it. I don't want to hurt myself. Collaborate with a landscaper. Give them some business if you can. Get to know them as well. Too many times we get caught up in collaborating with different local businesses or maybe not even collaborating at all. And we're missing the point of getting to know who they are, why they're doing what they do. Because here's my take. Here's my theory, my thought. I can't call and have those conversations with somebody about trying to do business with them if all I did was hire, thank you for coming, and now you're gone, right? Because I'm every other person that they've worked with. Let's be different. Let's set ourselves aside. And when you're collaborating with these local businesses, we have a lot of little coffee shops here. It's easy when you go in there and you visit with them just to get your coffee. You put your card up on the board. You get to know them a little bit. What locations are they opening up? It's easy to go in there and say, hey, I'm going to be doing XYZ. I'm going to be doing XYZ, maybe a small event. And when I'm talking about cost-effective ways of doing things, it doesn't cost us money to do a coat drive. It doesn't cost us money to do a school supply drive. None of that costs us money, and people want to give back to the community. So that's another way, once again, of building your long-term business by doing things that won't take daily time from you to be able to be successful. So moving on, coffee shops, I just talked about that, etc. Pick whatever is important to you. All right. Pick whatever businesses are out there. Pick whatever it is that you know somebody. Maybe you could ask yourself right now, like, gosh, is there a place I go into that's a local place that I really don't even know who the owner is? Maybe I should go in there and introduce myself because I go in there all the time. Right. You'd be surprised what happens when you do that. We go to this coffee shop a lot, and I realized that I have to take out a second mortgage because we drink so much coffee there. However, we go in there so much that when somebody came in and they were talking to the owner, because we know who she is, ironically enough, I coached her son in soccer. She said something about that was his worst year ever. Coach wasn't that great. I don't know, but I'd probably never do it again. Right. So she had a guy walk up, he's getting coffee, and he says to her, he's looking at buying a house. He says to her, he's not happy with his roommates, and he's thinking about maybe buying a house. My wife was standing right behind him, and she says, hey, Jennifer does real estate. He turns around and he says, oh, hey, I see you in the Daily Energy store. It's a supplement store that we go into. We're like, oh, she's like, yes, his name is Ryder. She introduced herself. We're showing him houses now, right? We would have never gotten that referral from that coffee shop if we didn't know who she was, if we didn't know who that owner was. We would have just been another person in line that goes there all the time that we didn't get to know them, right? She just opened up another new location. We've been over there to support her. We drink coffee anyways, so why don't we get to know them? Here's a really, really big one for me. Not the biggest one, but here's a big one. And people are going to say, okay, I get it. I know open houses, all of that stuff. But really it comes down to, and we could spend an hour on this conversation. I know Tyler and Mike, I know a lot of people are going to have stuff to say, and I want you guys to say it. Tell me what's working for you. But let's go over some things with open houses. Here's a big one. If you don't have a listing, call a local agent. There's a lot of lazy agents that do not want to do their own open houses that would love for you to do their open houses. And there's also agents who just can't because they have other engagements that they have to do. Now, when you're doing open houses, this maybe costs us $30, right? Print up some material, buying some snacks, some drinks. But when you're doing these open houses, how you do them is really important. And the open houses that you pick are really important. So I'm going to give a snapshot of the open houses that we look for when we're looking to get an open house. If we don't have a listing that we could do one on, or if we have clients that don't want us to do one, because we still have some of that. When you're looking for an open house, at least for us, we're looking for something that's either fresh on the market, priced somewhat accordingly, right? Because buyers we're seeing are not showing up to as many when they feel it's high priced, or something that maybe has been on the market longer, but they had just done a price reduction. Okay, something that's going to entice people to show up. these open houses that we do, I feel marketing for them prior to it is very important. So we're going to get into that. Door knock. Now, Tyler, I'm going to pick on you. What would be the purpose and how much would it cost you to print up 50 flyers and to door knock these houses before you open house?
Not much, because you get a lender or a title rep on board and make them pay for most of it. But like to the door knocking side, like purpose of door knocking, you can keep it real simple in the beginning stages. If you're doing an open house on Saturday and Sunday, I always say like door knock on like Thursday or Friday and just be like, hey, I'm actually the local real estate agent for this zip code. Right? So we're doing an open house in this neighborhood. Right? I just want to let you know we're doing it on Saturday between this time and Sunday between this time and this time, because there's probably going to be a lot more traffic like on the street and there might be a little less parking. So I just want to make sure you're in the loop and not like wondering what the heck is going on because you don't have a place to park your car.
I love it. And I'm going to share with us, because we talk about cost-effective ways to get leads, right? So we've got somebody's open house. We're going to go door knock it 3 days prior. That's one of the first things we'll do. And when we do, I'm similar to Tyler, and I go up and I say, hey, listen, I'm doing an open house over at 123 Main Street. I'm going to say everybody on here has probably sold 123 Main Street. Okay, so I'm doing an open house at 123 Main Street. We are inviting all the neighbors because we would love your feedback so we can help maximize the sale price of this home for your neighborhood. Something along those lines. Guess what? They want to help. They want their value to stay up. Just invite them to come and look at it. Now, when you're inviting them to come and look at it, the way that you earn their business is going to be the following steps that we're going to talk about, because door knocking and talking to them one time does not earn the business for that person, right? I'm going to share some stories of open houses. I love this one because it's the most cost-effective way, and there's people who have built their business strictly off of open houses, cost them nothing. But you have to prepare. You're also going to door knock the day of, okay? There's going to be a lot of people who didn't answer 3 days prior, and then you're going to go back and eat. So pick out the sections in the neighborhood. And even if you door knock the same one, hey, man, Tyler, it was nice to meet you the other day. I'm letting you know, again, I'm still doing that open house today. I would love to see you over there. Guess what's just happened, and a lot of us don't realize, is that, like, you know what? The last 1,600 open houses we had here, nobody knocked on our door. And if they did, they didn't do it twice. Man, this guy's really trying to help sell this home. So now we're getting to a point of trying to earn that business. Put out 20 signs. Go ahead, Jeff.
Jason, well, first off, I want to root you on because this is such great content today. And I hope you guys realize the value of this, because in a market like this one, you need to figure out how to get more leads and spend $0. I love that we have people peppering in things like, you don't even have to pay for printing, guys. Your lending partners, and by the way, call them partners. Hey, would you like to partner with me on a project? We're going to door knock 250 doors. We're going to hand out one by one these flyers. I just need somebody to partner with me, cover printing costs. If you have an in-house printer, I don't even care how you're handling it. Don't pay for some of that stuff yourself. Find a business partner who will do it. But check it out. Jason's giving you the recipe right now. And I promise you, I could point to a lot of people. Pat Hayes was actually just on here the other day. And you probably remember this, Jay, where he literally was like, when I realized my business was hitting the skids, he didn't do an open house a week or 2 open houses a week. He did them 7 days a week until his business right-sided. Like, you have to ask yourself, how committed am I? Am I doing the door knocking? Am I doing the open? Well, that's exhausting, Jeff. Yeah, so is looking at your bank account with zeros. So guess what? Go out there, get an open house going, and be willing to put the effort in. If you do what others won't do, you'll live a life that others won't have. And that's what Jason's trying to show you today. And I think it's super valuable. So keep going, man.
I appreciate that, man. And it goes to a lot of things with this. Again, I'm going to say we got tired of starting our business over every 90 days. Here's what sucks when we were doing that is we were paying XYZ to Zillow. We were paying XYZ to realtor.com. They didn't say, hey, we know you're slow this month. It's cool that you don't pay us. They still wanted their $1,000 or $1,500, so this is stuff that we can dive into that is very cost effective, that, we're going to have those seasonal shifts. We're going to have, like right now, it's a little bit slower in Oregon. I'm determined to say that this is going to be our busiest time. That's what I'm after for us and our team. And when it does get slow like that, you want to make sure that you're lean. People who are very successful, they plan out their year. They make sure that during these times, they know exactly what's going out and what's coming in, right? So put out 20 signs. If you don't have 20 signs, put out what you have. But I'll tell you, if you put out one sign in front, and one down the road and then one down the other road, you're not doing yourself any service. Okay. You're not doing it. Understanding why you're putting out that many signs is very important. When we have a listing or an open house, we all know on here, if we don't, we're learning today that typically having the open house does not sell that home. Okay. So it's really about trying to get exposure for it and then marketing what we do for that local neighborhood and hopefully picking up buyers that if they want to buy the home, fantastic. But if not, it's a lead for us. So here's what is almost most important to me for putting out this many signs, or as many as you can, depending on where this open house is at. Those neighbors that you talked to earlier on 3 days prior and the day of are now seeing 15 signs out, balloons, and that you're putting the work in. They're seeing you an hour before the open house, putting that sign in the ground with an umbrella because it's raining. And they're thinking, man, if I sell my house, that's who I want to do it, right? So that's what we're doing when we're putting this kind of stuff out. Print other open houses. So this goes into what we're doing at the open house. Go ahead, Tyler.
Man, you called me into the room so quickly.
Buddy, because I need to stop talking for a little bit. It's all about me, really. So go ahead.
So I see, like with open houses, there's a duplication of tactics that needs to go on. And whereas, like, if anyone has ever subscribed to Zillow, you know that a Zillow call comes in, you're setting up the appointment and just showing a house. The chances, like with those Zillow calls, is that like the people who will buy the first house they look at, that they inquire on, it's like 1 out of 50. This is the same exact thing in duplication with open houses. And the house that they enter into likely is going to be, there's a 1 out of 50 chance that they're going to buy it. So when you print like these other open houses info, one of the best things that you can do is, and this is how I formulate it, at least for myself, is like, all I want is to give them a CMA at the very end of houses that are like local to where the open house is at. And typically I try to choose like specific school districts. Because when they're walking out of there, they're probably not going to buy that house, but I can give them the thing that's like, hey, these are actually like 5 houses in the area, similar square footage and everything within the school district, all within the same price tag, that are available and for sale right now. I'll be wrapped up around like 3:30 p.m. with this. So I could open up any one of these doors at 4 if you guys like drive by and think you want to look at them. And so just wanted to pepper that in there and like, make sure you're giving people a next step of houses that they can go look at, that you can go open up for them.
That's it. I love that. And you're right along the same lines of where I'm at here. You say pepper that in, I say sprinkle that in. I love it. You know what I mean? So G team, you're right. This is your chance to be able to pick your neighbor. I mean, tell them that. Hey, do you know somebody who's looking to the neighborhood? There's a lot of things that we could say that are not salesy, right? And they're really, this is what we like to do. People know people who want to buy or sell. They know people who maybe have been talking about that neighborhood. So this is your chance to pick your neighbor. So print out other open houses like what you're talking about. The reason why we're doing this is because if somebody comes in, this is a big one to me. Okay, guys, a lot of things are a big one to me. I think that we don't lose a transaction. We don't lose a client over a few dollars. We lose it over a few words. Okay. In my opinion. So when people come in and they say, hey, Jason, I'm already working with a real estate agent, I say, fantastic. Hey, let me ask you real quick, Karen, are you exclusively working with them? Or are you still interviewing to make sure that you have the best agent to help you buy that home? Sometimes people are like, well, what do you mean interview? Well, the agent that you're working with, have you met in person and are you looking at homes? Well, yeah, actually we have. We've been looking for a couple months and they've been sending me homes. They've been calling me every Friday. They've been having a follow-up. So yeah, I think we have the right one. Should we interview? You know what? Let's have some integrity. If that agent is showing them homes, if they're following up with them, if they're really working for them, whoever they're working with, hey, you know what? They're doing a phenomenal job. You know what I mean? Let's have some integrity on that end, right? Now, if they say, well, I'm just, they're sending me some properties, but honestly, I feel like I'm sending them more properties than they're sending me. If we're talking with an agent who really just has them on a drip campaign, they're not really out there doing it. Say, hey, listen, it sounds like you might still be in the interviewing stage, and I would love a chance to meet with you. If they're unhappy, they are going to want to interview. And if the agent's not really taking care of them, guess what? Our job is to take care of our clients. That's what it is, right? So give yourself a chance to see if they are being taken care of or not. And if it's appropriate, ask to interview. Doesn't mean you're taking the business. I've lost some clients to open houses that probably I shouldn't have lost, but you know what? That means that they probably weren't happy. So I had to adjust what I was doing, right? So print other open houses. That way they can go to them. That way you're showing some value. That way there they are. Don't be afraid that if they go to it, that you're going to lose them. No, guess what? You can say, hey, I'm one of the few agents that prints this up because I want you to have the most out of your day if you're looking at homes. And guess what? I'm done here at 3, maybe 3:30 because of what we have going on. And I'm available till 5 tonight to show homes. I time block that out in case somebody comes in like yourself and they want to go look at a home.
That is my favorite strategy, Jason, right there. Like literally just have this list. I saw Tyler in the chat posted that he prints 30 CMAs, and that's awesome. The whole point of having those extra houses is to also be available. Like how cool would it be to take somebody from open house to being like, listen, you don't have to fall in love with this one. It's not my house, baby, but let's go look at something you actually like. You need 2 extra bedrooms. Guess what? Look at this. I got 3 of those. What time are you available today? I'm available after 4. Let's go do it. Right? I love that strategy because now you're actually turning yourself into their preferred resource. You're making yourself instantly available. You're like, listen, I may be a little sweaty from picking up signs, but you're my number one priority. Who says that? Nobody. Most agents are like, well, I'm tired and I got to pick up my dog and I got to whatever. Yeah, figure the dog thing out. Figure the kids thing out. Go sell a house and you're going to figure your whole life out, right? That's a better strategy in my humblest of opinions.
I love it. And here's the thing is that we talk, and I'm looking at who's here, and I want to say I actually had some clients of Zoe's come into one of my open houses, having a great conversation. I was like, okay, cool. They want to buy, everything else. And I said, hey, you working with somebody? They said, yeah, we are. I said, oh, great. Who are you working with? And they said, Zoe with EXP. Boom. Phenomenal. You're taken care of. Go for it. She's awesome. Boom, boom, boom. I'm not looking to see how things are going because I know what she's doing. I see her videos. I see her out there doing things, right? And then even if it wasn't Zoe, but it was somebody that you know is a reputable agent, say that. You're in great hands. They're phenomenal. Now we're building agent relationship, right? Hey, listen, tell your agent, Chad, that you came by and see me and let him know I said hi. Now, I'm not going to go into all the attraction part of that, but now you're building that relationship. Joanne, love to hear from you.
I'm unmuting on the big screen because it's going to do feedback if I do it on my computer. So if you want a best way to build realtor relationships, and I've had people like send me kissy emojis and like, I love you. When I see that their client is getting a little squirrely and I know that that's a great agent, and I'll say, you know, I just wanted you to know that your client, Susie, came to my open house. And even though I know you've been showing her houses for a year, because she told me that, she's like talking to other agents. So let's get you back together with them so that you can, you know, be compensated for everything that you've done for them. And I just wanted you to know that I directly pointed her back to you and I told her how amazing you are. So hopefully you can connect with her and you can close that loop and you can sell her a house.
Joanne, I love that because that's going to happen back to you from that agent. Right? That's what we would expect. If we're professional, that's what happens. I'll give an example of what I mean by someone who possibly isn't taken care of, right? When we know agents who are taking care of them and they're getting squirrely, take Joanne's advice. Call that agent up, say, hey, Jeff was just here. We already know he's kind of an oddball. However, it sounds like he's talking to other agents. You might want to call him out, right? So, or give him a call. The kind of stuff I'm talking about, I had these clients come in. I'll never forget this one. They came in. And you can kind of see the frustration. Husband and wife, she was pregnant. They already had a kid. They're really trying to find a place. They're having to move out of the place that they're in because it's being sold. This was about 4 years ago. And I said, oh, well, are you working with somebody? They said, yeah, it's not really working out. It's a part-time agent, blah, blah, blah. That kind of didn't mean much to me because sometimes kind of not working out is they're really, really trying, but maybe the client's not on board with what needed to happen at that time in the market. This is a time in the market when we're having to offer over asking price and we're having to do things. You know, I've seen agents that have helped clients for 6 months and offer on 15 homes and they just lose out on it and they're really trying. Well, they deserve to keep working with that client, right? They're really trying. That's my opinion. This particular client, they told me, they said, yeah, they're just not showing me homes. There's a house I really, really want to get, but they said, no, we can't even look at it. And I said, oh, what's that house? They showed it to me. And I said, I'm just curious, why can't you get that house? They said, well, he told us we can't. And he said it's not even worth going and looking at. And they're like, we really want it. It's in the neighborhood we want to be in and everything. And I realized that this agent was not helping them out. This is a house that they really wanted. I'm gonna ask this question and I'll answer it, but I think everybody knows exactly where I'm going. I showed them that house. They bought that house. We closed on that house. This agent didn't go show it to him because he was busy that day. And then he also thought it was a manufactured home, so they couldn't buy it. That's an agent who wasn't taking care of the client, right? He wasn't trying to get them what they wanted. So those are the kinds that I'm saying, dig a little bit deeper. If they're really helping them, call that agent out, build that relationship. I love that, Joanne. Printing the open house information. One of the reasons why is because we would like to time block ourselves after. I don't know how many times I got done with the open house and I'm offering to go show properties. Let's get out there. Let's time block let's time block our open house from 11:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. Right? We've got an hour and a half before where we're going to the office. I'm telling you, if your stuff's not printed up the day before, 3 days before, 5 days before, when you get to that office the day of the open house, your printer will not work. Okay. So print it up prior to the day of the open house. Sign-in sheet. Now this one here, everybody uses something different. I'm learning some really cool stuff with KB Core. For those of you who use it, that there's an open house one that they can go into that when they put their information in there, it automatically puts them into your database. Now, here's what's really big. I don't care what you use for a sign-in sheet. I don't care if you use a hammer and a chisel. I don't care what you use. You have to ask clients when they come in to give the feedback. Here's what I do. This is how we're generating leads for low cost. Someone comes in, I talk to them, I say, hey, listen, before you head out, Tyler, do me a favor. Can you fill this out so I can give really good feedback to the seller on what they can do to sell their home? That's it. I don't ask them for their name, their number, anything else. The sheet's going to ask them for that. And most of the time when people put their head down or they're starting to put stuff into your CRM or they're starting to put it on your tablet, they're just going to fill out each box. If you get it back and they don't have their name down, they're like, oh, their name or number, like, oh, so what was your name again? It was Tyler? Great. What's a good number, Tyler, just in case I have some more questions for feedback? Ask them again. If we're not asking for this, if we're not asking at all, don't do an open house. You know what I mean? Like, don't go into it. We've got to ask this. This is how we get the clients. Dress up. Too many times I've gone into an open house. I'm not saying we got to be fancy, but let's be appropriate, right? I had some clients that we were looking at some homes. One of them was actually having an open house. We walked in, the agent was there. I could tell my clients were kind of acting a little bit like they felt like they were intruding. And we were kind of just talking, we're doing our thing. We left, we looked at some more homes and I said, hey, that house over there, what do you think about it? We got to talking. I said, yeah, that was the agent that was there. And I was talking and they looked at me and said, that was a real estate agent? I said, yeah. And they go, well, we walked in and he had music going, like, the music he liked having, not like soft kind of music going. He was cleaning stuff with spray bottle and a towel. Hair wasn't done. He had a t-shirt, shorts, and tennis shoes. I'm not even talking a polo. I mean, they didn't even know. They thought he was a cleaner that was coming to clean the house. Some areas you got to know who you're presenting to. So you don't want to overdress, but you really don't want to underdress, right? When people come in, they want to know that they're working with somebody who was prepared, who they're coming in, who they're going to see. I think we all know what to do, right? So just make sure you're dressed up when you go in. Here's a big one. We'll get to this stuff too. Social media video 3 days prior. I learned this from Jeff. I'm using it now. It's real simple. Get on my social media. I'll do a video and I just push send now. I don't even want to look at it. I don't like hearing my voice. Well, I do like hearing my voice. I lied about that. But anyways, I'll get on there and I'll do the social media video. It's real simple. Hey guys, we have 2 open houses going on this week. One over in Salem, Northwest Salem. We have another one happening in Southeast Corvallis. One's going to be on Saturday. One's going to be on Sunday from 1 to 3, held by Aaliyah McPhee and Colby Hansen. I'm going to be stopping by to say hi. We hope to see you guys there. I didn't tell them the address yet. Then I'll do another video that's going to tell them what the address is the day before or maybe the day of, because I'm trying to build a little bit of frenzy of people wanting to see the next video, right? So do a social media video 3 days prior, do a social media video the day of, okay? When you're there, do a video of the house, do a video of the front, tag the owner of that video, right? Tag the person that you're listing the home for, tag the agent that maybe you're doing that for, because maybe they'll share it with their seller. This is what we're doing for you, right?
Hey, Jason, I
ahead.
love your idea about being willing to make a mistake too in the video. And I would recommend to this video right here. We're going to send this out to our entire group, hundreds and hundreds of agents. We're going to post it. We're going to do also, we're live right now on Facebook. We're doing all sorts of stuff. Look at this. But it doesn't matter what I do, guys. It doesn't matter. You think that what you're doing with your face or what you say, listen, what you look like is what you look like. You can't help that, make it better, make it worse. It's completely irrelevant, right? I can't fix this, y'all. I'm sorry. It's just what it's going to look like. Maybe there'll be some AI filter makes me look like Brad Pitt from Fight Club someday. But until that exists, I'm going to look like this. But guess what? Who freaking cares? And I will tell you this, be willing to be 100% authentic. This is something that my amazing wife, Lexi, has taught me, is like authenticity is actually real authenticity. There's too many people on Instagram, like, everyone, look how real I am. Like, you're trying to be real. If you're trying to be real, that's the opposite of real. So stop doing that. Just be real. Listen, if you get on there and you say fart instead of, start or whatever happens, it doesn't matter. Leave it. It's hilarious. In fact, right after it, laugh at yourself and be like, all right, guys, I'm just leaving this one. Who cares? You will get more views on that than you got on anything super professional that you ever did before. People like real people. It's not about, listen, if you're a goofball, be a goofball. I'm a little bit of a goofball. All my friends know that. They love me anyway, right? It doesn't matter. If you're super serious, great, be super serious. But same thing, if you say something dumb, just chuckle about it and move on. Because if you do a same video like Jason did his first time, like I did my first time, you do it 600 times, you're trying to piece it all together, use an iMovie to stitch together all the good takes, that's dumb. Just do the video, put it online. Because like Jason said, your worst video will beat the pants off every other realtor. 98% of them still aren't doing video. Get your stuff out there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I love it. And I'll share with everybody. I didn't do this a year ago. I didn't do videos a year ago. Very timid to come on here and do presentations and try to bring value to this. This is not easy for me, right? But we can do it. I can't remember his name. I think it was Rick who does the YouTube. And I love what he said. He goes, if you don't like the way you look on video, guess what? You look the same way in person, right? So it's like, okay, that was an eye opener. This is who I am. This is who we are. Put it out there, right? People want to see that stuff. People are watching it, even though you don't know that they're watching it. So I encourage everybody, break through. I don't care if you got to do a video in front of your family just to try to get that, just not send anything out. Just say, I'm going to do this with a little audience and just break through that. Because telling you, that's the way a lot of things are going. That's the way you'll get leads just from doing this. I spend a lot of time on open houses because this is the least, the most cost-effective way to generate leads, not just buyer leads, but seller leads. Okay. But you've got to prepare them and you've got to set them up. The whole goal when you're going out there is to lead generate. This is something to take time on. Do 2 or 3 a week if you can. Prepare for your open houses every Thursday for not that weekend, but the following weekend, right? Do these, you will generate leads. Okay. It's a powerful one. I love this one. And I already said this, but ask for their information. You've got to do it. If you're not asking for their information, it's not even worth going. Maybe if you did everything else and you get a listing, but if you're not asking for their information, we're probably not doing everything else. Right. So this is a big one for me. I hope that this stuff is valuable. So, I really do. So let's talk about for sale by owners. A lot of people, when we think of for sale by owner, we're like, it's intimidating. Well, I've started calling them 8 years, 9 years, 27 years in the business. I'm not sure. But I'm now finally calling for sale by owners. And guess what? It actually wasn't that hard. They didn't yell at me. They didn't show up at my office to beat me up. I'm doing okay. I'm still here doing videos, right? So for sale by owners, let's talk about some things on those. We have to cold call them. That's a cold call, right? But what are we doing? What's the purpose of that? Yes, we would love to get that listing. Let's not hide that from them. But you know what? If we're not at that stage yet to try to get the listing for them, I'm going to share some things with you that can possibly help you get some more business. Add value. When you call them up, don't talk about how you're so great, how you're going to do this for them, how you're going to make it happen, how you do all of this marketing. Guess what? Everybody else has already said that to them. When you call them up, let's add some value and let's first find out what they need and see if we have that value to add. Hey, Jeff, listen, hey, I'm going to be upfront with you. It looks like you got your house up for sale by owner. Completely appreciate that. Listen, I was just wondering, because I always want to know what's going on in the market, whether it's listed with an agent or if you're doing it by yourself. What is it that's your motivation to sell your home? Find out from them. What is it that you need? What is it that you're doing? You know what? We may find out that's not the right client for us to do that listing for. We may find out that they're like, well, I know I've got it $100,000 overpriced, and I figure if I could sell, I would sell. Maybe ask the question after that. Say, okay, if you know it's $100,000 overpriced, if I did have a buyer and they're willing to pay cash, what would you take right now? Maybe they'll give you the right number for it, right? But if it's unreasonable, let's know. But let's find out why. What are they doing? Come to the table with something other than, hey, list your house with me. No, you don't want to. Okay, click. You know, motivation. That's what we're just talking about. Find out what their motivation is. You'd be surprised. Some people may say money. Other people may not know what an agent can do. Most people are going to say it's the money. And here's what I say. Yeah, I learned this from Jeff. I'm going to give you a lot on this one. So it sounds to me like the net dollar amount is what's most important to you. Then you can go from there, right? But find that out. And then also ask, and this is a big one with everything, when you're calling these for sale by owners, other than getting the most money, is there anything else that would stop you from using a real estate agent? Let's narrow that down. And then let's make sure we have the value and we can add that to them. So I'm going to get into more on how you can get lead generating from for sale by owners, because we're not going to get every listing with this. Follow up with them. Here's what happened. I called a for sale by owner before we went to Las Vegas. I came back. I was still hungover for, 77 hours. I'm not sure how long it was. And I didn't call them back. I should have called them back when I was in Las Vegas, is what I should have done. We came back and we seen yesterday that they listed with an agent. Now, I want to say, hey, I was in Vegas, so I didn't get a chance to call and blah, blah, but that's just an excuse. I should have taken some time to follow up with that for sale by owner, because guess what? Just because they were for sale by owner a week and a half ago doesn't mean they wouldn't have listed with us. So I find with most for sale by owners, what I've seen happen like that is that they don't say yes on the first call. It's on the follow-up, right? Following up, hey, listen, you've had your house on the market now for 14 days. Would you consider interviewing with me at this point? Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. Hey, I want you guys to know, by the way, so this is a real statistic. I'm not making this up. This one's straight out of NAR. 70% of people who list their house for sale by owner end up selling with a, wait for it, realtor. So if you think, oh, they'd never, dude, 7 out of 10, if you called 10, 7 of them are going to list with someone. Only 3 of them are going to choose to do this themselves. And by the way, for sale by owners lose money, price per square foot versus selling with an agent. If you don't know how that works, research it, but it has to do with the marketplace. So you are actually helping people who need your help by being consistent with your follow-up. All you need to do is call and add value. Add value. Oh, listen, have you guys thought about doing an open house? I'd be happy to drop off some open house signs. Hey, listen, I've got a guide on selling your house yourself. I'd love to help you with that. Anything I can do. Do you need all the paperwork? There's only about 6,000 pages. And don't forget the one checkbox where you get sued for $10,000 if you don't check the checkbox. But I'm sure you already know about that. I don't care what you say, but follow up with them, provide value, provide value, provide value. And it takes on average, and I want you guys to know this, 7 to 10 touches before you get the for sale by owner listing. So if you put 10 people on a list, put 10 little check boxes next to them, you go to 10 on all of them, you're going to get 7 listings. If you do that every month, you're going to get 7 listings per month. And if you do that consistently, you're going to sell 100 homes per year. Because that's not, by the way, including all the buyers that are going to come off all those signs that you're going to have in the ground. Oh, it won't work for me. No, if you work for it, it will work for you, right? Feedback mechanism. It's cause and effect. Right? Newton's third law, every action or every reaction has an action associated with it. You can't expect the effect if you don't do the cause. You must be the cause and get out there, make the calls. And by the way, if you're not doing it, I promise you someone in your market's doing it and they're taking all those listings. You're like, how do they have so many listings? I bet they've been in business for 65 years. No, I know people their first year who are doing this right now who have 7 to 10 listings because they're taking it seriously like it's a job. They're not saying, well, I guess I should go work at Kinko's. Yeah, that's dumb. Work 40 hours a week for your real estate business and make 300 grand instead of 3 grand. I promise you that's better.
Boom. Mike.
That's tough to follow. Jeff, you're amazing, dude. I love you so much, man. But what I was going to say is I've personally experienced this with for sale by owners. First, I was like super scared to call them. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a list of every for sale by owner in the state of Hawaii. And I'm just going to start with the most expensive one and work my way down. Right. And I found a $55 million for sale by owner. And I was like, look, if this guy's not going to bite my head off, like if he'll listen to me, anybody will. Right. So I called that guy first, man. And it was a great conversation. I got to host an open house, one of the best places I've ever hosted an open house. It was awesome. I did not get that listing, but he did already have another agent that he was going to list with if he couldn't sell it. But as I was working my way down, that same day, this was 3 years ago, that same day that I was calling him, I called somebody that had an $8 million for sale by owner listing. I stayed in touch with that guy. I called him, I don't know, 10 times ish before I finally got an in-person meeting. And 2 years to the day after the first time I called the guy, I listed his house, and it was a beautiful house on the mountains in Hawaii. And but it took at least 10 conversations, like real conversations, before I even got a meeting with the guy. So I would not take no as like no forever. It's just no for now. And try to make a friend with that person and bring as much value as you can.
I love that, man, because it shows the power in the follow-up. And when they say no, just take it as KNOW. They just don't know that they need you yet. Okay. So, keep following up, and they'll end up, you'll be the one when you're top of mind for them to call. You had this one for me, Jeff, 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 people are going to list with an agent. So you got to follow up with them. Offer them an open house. Now, maybe you have to find out the state you're at if you can do that. But say, hey, listen, I get you're not listing with an agent right now. I do find that we have better luck when the owner of the home is not there. When people are coming to look at it, they feel more comfortable. They're more willing to ask questions, and they don't try to just hurry and come in and come out. Would you like me to do an open house for you, Jeff? That's not going to cost you anything, and I'd love to do it. Maybe I can earn a client. Maybe we can find somebody to help buy your home. Okay, offer to do an open house. Here's a big one. Listen, I'm not going to work with an agent. I don't want to work with an agent to sell my house. That's not what I want to do. XYZ, no problem. You're building some relationship with them. Jeff, let me ask you, we talked a little bit about this earlier. You said you're going to be moving to Nebraska from Puerto Rico. I get it. Better weather in Nebraska. Fantastic. Hey, when you're going out there, you be buying another house? Well, you know what? Yeah, I am. Guess what? I work with a lot of partners out, all over, including Nebraska. Listen, why don't I get you set up with a couple of people that we could possibly interview? I can interview for you, make sure it's the right fit, and I can get you set up with the right agent. Jeff, would that be okay for me to do that for you? I'd love to help out.
Absolutely.
Listen, let's find that business, right? Like if they're moving, so just because they're selling it for sale by owner, they don't want to work with us. Most for sale by owners, guess what? They're going to use somebody to buy the next house, right? They don't realize that they're actually paying for that as a buyer. That's a different story. We'll get into another day. But, they'll use you on the other end. Now, if they're buying local, well, hey, let me ask you, Joanne, do you have someone who's helping you with your next purchase? Well, I don't. Hey, listen, I would love to maybe stop by. One, I could see your house, because if I have a potential client, I can make sure I can let them know about the home and what it has to offer. And two, I get a chance to meet you in person and maybe find out what you're looking for. And I can start helping you on that search. How does that sound? Listen, if they say no, it's okay. You're going to follow up with them. But if you don't ask, we're not going to get the right answer, right? And I learned a long time ago that we need to get through the no's to get to the yeses. And if we're not asking, then we're cheating ourselves to hurry up and get to that yes. Okay. So your whole state, the whole world, call for sale by owners that are in Portland if you're in Medford. Because guess what? You can refer to an agent in Portland. Hey, listen, I got a lot of business. I mean, you're not limited to what you have. I learned this just recently. I'm like, oh, I've only got 2 here in where I work. Oh, well, you know what? Actually, last time I looked, Zillow checked the whole state. They'll even go to Nebraska. I don't know why I'm using Nebraska today, but that just sounds like the right state. So do your whole state. Okay. Sphere, existing leads. I know we're running a little short on, we got about 15 minutes left. So Sphere, existing leads. I think, what I used to be is kind of timid to reach out to my Sphere. How do I talk to them? What do I do? This kind of goes back to the beginning of this core 90 of reminding them what you do, sending out something of value to them, just like you do with everybody else. There's no reason that your Sphere can't get a holiday card. There's no reason that they can't get an email for a recipe. There's no reason that they can't get an email of what's going on in the market. Reach out to them, call them. Hey, Jeff, man, it's been a long time. How are things going? They're going great. Hey, let's get together for coffee. I'm not going to talk with Jeff about coffee at that, about real estate that first time. I may tell him, hey, I'm still in real estate, but that's not what it's about. I'm building a relationship with him, right? Once again, doing these things may not be right now leads on some of these things I'm talking about. However, this is going to help you build that business, because when you start doing these things, you do it consistently, you will find that you are not going to be restarting your business every 90 days. Tired of it, right? Let's start getting consistent business. Call them up. Existing leads. It's going to go back to following up with open houses. On average, we had a great conversation with Tyler over in Las Vegas. On average, the 8th call is when he's making contact and he's earning that client. So many people don't even get to the 3rd call. Call these people up. I don't care if the lead is 2 years old. Call them up. That does not mean that they bought. Okay, some people didn't buy 2 years ago or a year and a half ago because they couldn't go over asking price. Give them a call. Go for coffee, like I was talking about. Invite your sphere out. Let's go have a coffee. Let's go have a cocktail. Whatever it is that you want to do, invite them to go do something. Pop buys. So during different times, you could do pop buys with your clothes, with your sphere, and you can just pop by and you can bring those. I feel weird that I don't know what they're called, but the covers for your water spigots outside so it doesn't freeze. Whatever those things are called. Tyler, don't laugh at me. It's not funny. However, have those in your car. Stop by existing clients. Stop by your sphere. Hey, I'm dropping these off. I want to make sure you have them. Maybe they already have them. Maybe they don't. But now you have a reason to pop by. You know, there's other reasons you can do pop buys to sphere. Maybe not your existing leads unless you've already created that relationship with them. Just because you haven't sold them a house yet, if you create that relationship, pop by, see how they're doing, bring something of value to them. When we're doing these things, I want to go back a little bit. When we're doing these things, at some point, we're going to be asking for referrals. Okay. We're going to be asking because everybody knows 3 people a year that need something with real estate. Sometimes it's not about buying a house. Sometimes it's about refinancing. But guess what? When you help them get set up with the right person to refinance their home, they're going to remember you to help them purchase or sell or refer you to somebody else. Okay. So campaigns, we go back to what we talked about earlier with setting up campaigns that are going out to your sphere or existing leads. This is powerful. This helps you with your time blocking. It helps go out, but you know what? You still have to manage these, right? You want to make sure that the right campaign's going out to the right people. Notes, really, really big. I used to speed through my calls. Man, I was awesome. I made 100 calls today. Boom. Nobody's going to ever be able to beat me. And I look back and I took one note, and that was meet somebody for lunch. I did not take notes about who I was talking with. I would rather we make 40 phenomenal calls and we have notes that if somebody looked at, they would maybe fall asleep because there's so much reading material, right? So put notes, where they're moving, where they're at, what's their motivation, what's their birth date, what's their kid's birth date, who's graduating next, who goes to what gym, who goes to what school. Put these notes in there because it goes back to build these relationships. And when you call them up and I say, hey, Jeff, man, listen, it's June. I know that your niece was going to graduate, OSU. How'd that go? Did you end up making it out? Yes, I did. Hey, fantastic. I appreciate it. XYZ, whatever. Listen, hey, I'm doing this thing right now. I'm in a competition. I with other people in my group, and we're trying to get as many referrals as we can. Now, I opened that conversation up with something that was of value to Jeff. I didn't just call and say, hey, give me some business, right? So take those notes. It's very important. Consistency. Consistent, that goes with everything. Anything you're going to pick to do, if we're not doing it consistently, it's not going to work for us. That we're going to filter off in 3 or 4 months. It's not going to work. Just time block it, put it in there, make it happen. And guess what? I get that we sometimes get away from our time blocking, but if you take away from your time block, you've got to put it somewhere else. So, this is your business. I was talking to somebody the other day, because I'm always talking to people when I go out. And I was at the bank. I had to get a new debit card because whatever. I said to him, hey, you thought about doing real estate? And he's like, well, I kind of thought about it. And I was like, okay, we had this good conversation. And we went into, he said, well, I see a lot of people that they tell me that they're not doing really good. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. I said, well, let me ask you, when you come here, you have to clock in at a certain time, right? He said, yes. I go, then you clock out at a certain time, right? Yes. You guys all know where I'm going with this. I said, okay, if you came over to real estate and you took that same mentality of you have to clock in and clock out at a certain time. Sometimes you don't get to clock out, but that's what we do. But if you took that mentality of this is what you have to do when you're there, because this is your job, this is your business, you would be highly successful, and I can help you with that. So, same thing with this, with consistency. We can't clock in at 9 and then clock out at 9:06 because we decided that we needed a third coffee that day and we're going to run across the street, right? We're clocked in. We can't go across the street because our boss, which is in the mirror, said that we have to make calls. Go ahead, Tyler. You're muted, brother.
I thought I clicked it. I say that's super powerful stuff, and like the consistency over time. Like when it comes to sphere, like one thing and to have in mind is like I always say, and I know Jeff has heard me say this a million times. There's A sphere, B sphere, and C sphere. The C sphere is people that you know who've never bought and sold with you. B sphere, like those are people who may have bought and sold with you, right? And that should be a touch like every 3 months, right? When it comes to your A sphere, like people who've referred you business and have actively like just contributed to your business, like that should be a once a month touch. And that's whether it's a pop by, a coffee date, a phone call. And it should be always like with Sphere, like everything outside of real estate. It's like the agents that I coach and the agents that I like train locally here on our team, the most successful agents, they like when it comes to their Sphere time blocking, they have like this point of like, it's 2 hours and it's usually only like 3 or 4 phone calls, but each of those phone calls, if that's like what they choose to do for communication, not have coffee or anything, like each of those phone calls are like 45 minutes. And like, it's just like, hey, how's it going? And blah, 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 blah. And then they ask you how you're doing. And you do like an authentic thing of just talking about your business, because usually people always be like, how's the real estate world? Oh, this is going on in my business. This is going on. And how are you? You're not pitching them. You're not like asking them if they know anybody who's buying or selling. You're just authentically talking about your world and then refocusing the conversation back on them and what's going on. And like, you just have like a healthy conversation. And that's how those A-Sphere clients work so well. And like why so much business comes from them is like, you're just hanging out and just building the friendship. It has nothing to do with real estate, right? Because when real estate does come up in their world, like they're automatically going to point back to you. But that, I just want to like have a little say on that, because so many of like the successful agents I see, like those are the types of conversations they're having with their Sphere clients. So
no, it goes back to building that relationship, right? I mean, when we're on these calls, sometimes we make so many calls, we finally get somebody on the phone like, oh man, I didn't know anybody was going to be home today, right? I mean, there's no reason to hurry up and get off that phone call. I mean, let's talk to them. What can we do, right? Thanks for peppering that in, Tyler. I appreciate it. Grocery, okay, referrals. We're in real estate. Yes, I like to talk. Yes, I talk to people everywhere. This book I'm reading is really teaching me to shut up, right? I mean, it's tough sometimes. That's just who I am. I get it. Referrals, anywhere we're at. Grocery store, you're in there talking. You don't know how many times I'm going through the grocery store. I know a lot of us probably do this. And whoever's, doing the checkout, I'm like, oh, hey, Rebecca, how you doing? She kind of looks at me like, who's this guy? How does he know my name? Because nobody does that, right? And then she's like, oh my gosh, I can't. Hey, Joe, whoever it is, hey, how you doing? They always say, oh, I'm good. How are you? Hey, I'm doing really good. I just got done helping a client look at some houses that they're thinking about buying. Maybe I did. Maybe I got done 2 days ago, but I did just get done at some point, right? I'm going to filter that in that's what I just got done doing. Hey, what's going on with you? The more than likely they're going to ask, oh, you do real estate. They're going to get a business card from you. They're going to do something. Hey, if you know anybody that wants to buy or sell a house, if you're looking, give me a call. I may not get their number because I'm respectful of the people behind me in line, right? But as they're checking my items out, I wanted to say check me out, but checking my items out, I'm going to be respectful of who's behind me. So anywhere you're at. Airplane. We were just on an airplane, right? If you're in the terminal, you could talk to somebody. New York casino. I put this one in here because we were going through New York casino last week. Maybe we had a few drinks. I don't know. Maybe it was New York casino. I don't know. But we were in Las Vegas for sure. Okay, I do know that. So we're going through this casino, and this lady asked me, I don't know why, but everybody wanted to stop and ask me stuff. And I was like, I started looking at the employees of the casino, like, am I dressed like they are, or what's going on here? But people wanted to stop and ask me. And this lady stopped and asked me a question, and I couldn't help her where she wanted to go because I don't know where I'm at, and I might have had a few drinks. I don't know. However, I did get her phone number. She does want to sell her home in New York where she lives. And I've already given her a call. We ended up doing a couple texts this week. I may or may not get a referral business out of that. But when her and I got into a conversation, we started talking about real estate. Because I said, hey, yeah, I go, hey, I don't know where that's at. I'm here for a real estate convention. That's what I do. I help people buy and sell real estate, something like that. Well, guess what? I sparked that conversation. Somebody knows somebody or somebody needs some help with real estate. Let's find out what we can do. Ask for referrals. Uber. I took a few Ubers this week, right? Talked to them. I talked to a few of them. They probably won't call me because most of the Ubers I took were on the way back. So I wasn't the same person I was on the way there, right? But I did talk to them. Friends, you've got to be talking to your friends. You've got to be asking them, hey, do you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell? People want to help people. So there's nothing wrong with us reaching out to our friends to see if they know somebody who wants to buy, okay? Past clients, got to be asking them. Dog park. I'm just putting stuff out there right now. Really what I'm getting to is anywhere you're at, we should be finding a way to have conversations if it's appropriate to have those conversations. People want to know what's going on in the real estate market, especially when things go up and down. Current clients, more than once throughout the process. When you're working with somebody, after you go under contract, hey, Jeff, fantastic. We just got all this done. We're doing this. Here's the next step. Hey, real quick, do you know anybody like you who's also looking for my help to buy a home? Ask them again. A really big one is ask them right after closing, especially if they're happy, which I know everybody here, they're going to be happy with. Joanne, go ahead.
I know I've shared this before, but I think there might be some newer people on here. And I will say that this is how I built my whole business when I started was, I would answer every question with, well, I'm a realtor. So at the grocery store, wherever you go, they're trained to say, how are you today? Cashier, well, I'm a realtor. So I got to enjoy this sunny day outside. It was so beautiful. I wish that you could have been out there. How are you? Well, I'm a realtor, so I just got done showing 25 houses and I can't wait to get home to dinner. I'm at the grocery store and the guy says, what do you do with those butternut squash? Well, I'm a realtor, so I'm going to make a big pot of soup for my realtor tour tomorrow. Do you guys know where the, pepper spray is at this store? Well, I'm a realtor, so yes, I do, because sometimes I use pepper spray when I'm out showing properties. It doesn't matter what the question is. The answer is, well, I'm a realtor, so, and then answer the question. It works so good for me. I mean, it's gold.
I love that, especially if they say, man, you look exhausted. Well, I'm a realtor. So yes, I am, right? So let me ask you, Joanne, how much did that cost you to do that? How much money did you get?
Nothing. And that literally is my cold calling. Like I don't cold call, but when I need to cold call, I cold call at the grocery store by going to talk to the produce guy. I mean, literally, I just go out. I need to go out and talk to some people and tell them that I'm a realtor. I don't do it by cold calling on the phone. I never have, not once have I done cold calling, but that is my version of cold calling because it's people I don't know. And I'm just going out and talking to them and telling them that I'm a realtor.
I love it. And this goes back to cost-effective ways, building our business, right? Because now when you've got those referrals, you have your follow-up that you can do. And now they're contacting you for you to help them again, or for you to help their friends or family. When you set a goal for the day, if you're going to talk to 5 people, you're going to talk to 10 people, is a number of ways we could do it. Out in public, in your office, where we're at, we have several people that are in here. It's not just about pick up the phone. Some people don't like to do it. So thank you for sharing that. It's great to see here somebody who's been successful with it. Share that so that, people know like, hey, this is what we can do. So family, again, make sure your family knows what you do. Sometimes they forget what you do. They don't always have to use you, and that's okay. But just make sure that they know who you are. Okay. Time to get after it. Time block. Some of these things that we're talking about, they don't need to be done every day. Time block when you're going to do your social media post once a week. Time block when you're going to do your email campaigns and make sure they're okay. Time block for all these activities. Block distractions, huge, very big. Get those out of the way. You do not need to answer that email that just came through from Etsy about the open house stuff that you had to order. You don't have to answer it. Okay. Tools, make sure you have the right tools. If you don't know what those are, reach out. CRM, cell phone to make calls, open house signs, whatever those tools are, find out. Everybody's here to help. Okay. Make a list of what you want to accomplish. Check that list the day before. Support. I talked about this at the beginning. Make sure that when you're starting something new and you're going to really go after it, that the people who are around you who are not in real estate understand and support what you're doing. Okay. My kids, I tell them before I leave, a lot of times I'm going to go dig a ditch, and they understand what that means. They understand that I'm going out to work. I'm going out to do this, right? It's a metaphor. I love it because somebody said earlier, how was your day? I think Joanne, you said that. Our 2-year-old daughter, she asks us that probably 367 times throughout the whole day. And she starts off with, when I say to her, good morning, sweetheart, she says, how was your day? Not like, fantastic. How was yours? She says, it's great. And then that just goes throughout the whole day, right? So goals, set your goals, go after them. Track what you're doing. I'm going to leave us with this. Track what you're doing. Don't try something for this next month and be like, man, that didn't work out for cost-effective lead generation. Put your time into it. Reach out to me, workplace, text, talk to anybody here. Hey, what can I do? How can I do this? We're here to help each other grow. Because guess what? With EXP, when we all sell homes, that benefits all of us. Our stocks go up. People want to come join us. It's a benefit for everybody. So hope that was powerful. I think I left us with 30 seconds for questions. So have at it.
I love this, Jason. Absolutely terrific content today. And while people are thinking if they've got something that they want to ask, by the way, feel free to raise your hand. And if you're new to the community, thank you for joining us today. We do this. We have 5 hours of live stuff every single week, and we're adding to it all the time. It's absolutely incredible what's happening here. And in case you don't know, maybe this is like your first brokerage. You're like, I don't know if this one's good. Yeah, it's good. What's happening here doesn't happen elsewhere. I can tell you I've owned another brokerage. A lot of people on here who are speaking have been brokerage owners, mega team leaders, selling hundreds of houses a year. Guys, these are mega icons that we're bringing in to do trainings and really pour into the community. This is unparalleled and unduplicated across the real estate industry. And I hope you really appreciate how much time it takes for someone like Jason to carve time out of his schedule, running a team, selling a ton of houses, doing amazing stuff in real estate to be here. Jason, thank you for being here, man. That was incredible, my brother.
Thank you, everybody. This is phenomenal. My time is just as important as yours, so I hope it was valuable. So I appreciate it.
Well, I love that. All right, listen, actually, we're at 1:30. I want to keep us right on track. If you have questions, listen, hopefully you're in our private Facebook group. If you're not, reach out to one of the people who spoke today. They can get you added. They're all admins on that group. We want to get you in there. It's hidden, though, so you got to ask. And want you guys in there engaging, ask questions. We put the live part of the video in there, minus all the copyright protected music I'm about to play on the way out here. All right. Love you guys. Have an amazing week, everyone, and go sell a lot of real estate. All right, baby.